Today we're discussing Hasan Minhaj fabricating experiences for his comedic bit, tipping culture making its move to become a mandatory fee, the Biden impeachment hearings have set a start date, and more, all in today's episode of the Insight Hour. What's up, Internet? Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. And if you're not, hopefully this can brighten things up.
A society, why do we ostracize? And whoever did that, it was not funny. All right, just because classes are online does not mean I will tolerate pranks.
Mrs. Baxter, you had us all on mute. Yeah.
That's enough of your jokes. One of you...
No, Miss Baxter, we could all see plain as day that we all had our mute icon. You were the only one with the sound on, so...
Fine. You guys may have pulled this one over on me this time.
Miss Baxter, your box literally turns green every time you make a sound, so we know that it's you that has the bubble guts.
You know, people not knowing how to use technology is just amazing sometimes. Alice, pull up the Hasan Minhaj story first.
Comedian Hasan Minhaj is under fire for allegedly fabricating stories of racial discrimination and other incidents in his comedy specials and political shows. The controversy came to light following an interview with The New Yorker, where Minhaj defended his storytelling approach as based on emotional truths. The revelations have divided the South Asian community and raised questions about the ethics of storytelling in comedy.
Alright, so let's get into this. Hasan Minhaj, known for his show on Netflix Patriot Act and The King's Jester, is in some hot water. And I'm not talking about a relaxing spa day, it's more like boiling oil. So The New Yorker did an interview with Minhaj where he admitted that some of his stories are, well, let's call it embellished. He said they're based on emotional truths, which sounds suspiciously like this.
And they're giving, Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts to that.
Also, I guess the whole facts don't care about your feelings thing is just out the window now, huh? Now, this isn't just a he said, she said situation. People who were supposedly involved in Minhaj's stories have come forward claiming that these things never happened. For instance, an unidentified woman in Minhaj's homecoming dance said that she turned him down days before the dance, and that unfortunately she's been facing online threats because Minhaj didn't adequately disguise her identity. And it doesn't stop there. The Daily Mail reported that some of the people reached out to Minhaj for accountability, but he shrugged them off like dandruff on his designer suit. Even his wife has been critical of his comedy, especially when it puts their family in potential danger. In addition, it turns out his show The Patriot Act was also accused of gender discrimination and sex-based harassment. Female researchers were reportedly kicked out of the writers' room during rewrites, and only the male head of the research department was allowed in. Now, you all remember Jussie Smollett, right? You know, the guy who was convicted for staging a racist homophobic attack on himself and then lying about it to the Chicago police? Yeah, that guy. This sort of feels like we're looking at two sides of the same coin here. Both individuals used their platforms to narrate personal stories that later came under scrutiny for their authenticity. The difference? One is facing legal ramifications, and the other is facing Twitter's wrath. Choose your fighter here, folks.
In a recent post on Reddit, the OP shared that a Vietnamese restaurant in California, Pho Hanoi, has implemented an automatic 18% service charge for parties of one or more.
So, shout out to the Golden State, you know, that place where dreams come true and your wallet gets lighter with every bite. So here's the tea, or should I say, pho broth? Boo! Anyways, a Reddit user by the name of TRTL2K posted a receipt from their recent trip to the restaurant Pho Hanoi. When the total came up to $62.93, they had realized that in the fine print of the receipt that the service charge of 18% was already included for parties of one or more. Now, the internet had a field day with this one. One user said it's a, quote, neat way to lose customers. Others being a bit more upfront with their thoughts with the simple, fuck that then. Just another place I wouldn't need to eat out at. Anyways, this isn't just a Pho Hanoi thing. Restaurants are coming up with all sorts of creative fees. I've seen wellness fees, kitchen appreciation fees, even living wage charges, which we'll get back to that last one. So some folks argue that this is just a transparent way to show why prices have increased. Roman Tripalt, owner of Union League Cafe in Connecticut, says it's exactly the same thing as raising prices. Now, I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention because I'm a little curious as to where along the line tipping turned into a mandatory social contract. Let's be clear, I'm not against tipping. I mean, I was a server for a good 8 years, sort of paid my way through college doing it. But when did it become the customer's job to ensure that employees are paid fairly? Last time I checked, that's their employer's responsibility. Now, mandatory tips on larger parties, that's standard. You've got 6 to 8 people, maybe more, and that server is running around like a headless chicken. But a service charge for a party of one? That's not just pushing the envelope, that's setting the envelope on fire and dancing around on it. Look, if you're running a business, you've got responsibilities. You've got to pay rent, utilities, and yes, your employees. If you can't do that without adding a bunch of hidden fees, maybe it's time to reevaluate your business model. It's not the customer's job to subsidize your payroll. It's like asking your dinner guests to bring your own chairs because you can't afford furniture. It's not just bad business, it's bad ethics.
Let's dive into the intersection of technology and creativity. Gareth Edwards, the director of Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, recently experimented with using AI to compose a soundtrack for his upcoming movie, The Creator. He aimed for a Hans Zimmer-esque score, but ended up with what he described as a 7 out of 10 track. The real Hans Zimmer was eventually brought in to save the day. This experiment has sparked conversations about the role of AI in creative industries.
So yes, Gareth Edwards, the guy who gave us Rogue One, thought he'd get all Tony Stark on us and use AI to generate a soundtrack for his new movie. I mean, who needs Hans Zimmerman when you've got algorithms? So Edwards collaborated with an unspecified AI music company to generate a soundtrack in the style of Hans Zimmerman. The AI did its thing and it came up with a track Edwards rated a 7 out of 10. Edwards eventually decided to go with the real Hans Zimmerman, who found the whole AI experiment amusing. Now this isn't just about one director's failed experiment. Hollywood is at a standstill with actors and writers striking over the use of generative AI. Even Sarah Silverman has sued AI companies for copyright infringement, so the stakes are relatively high. Experts say that while AI can generate simple compositions, it lacks the complexity and taste that human composers bring to the table. Sort of like comparing a microwave dinner to a 5-course meal prepared by Gordon Ramsay. One fills your stomach, the other fills your soul. Let's talk about the dark side of the moon, shall we? AI systems can scrape the web, analyze data, generate content eerily resembling human-made art, music, or writing. We've got AI algorithms that can write news articles, compose symphonies, and generate deepfake videos. Now, if you're an artist, musician, or writer, it's like finding out your paintbrush and canvas have teamed up to create a masterpiece without you. But hold on, let's not throw baby out with the bathwater. AI can also be a powerful tool for human creativity. Think of it like the Robin to Batman, or the Watson to Sherlock, or even the Alice to Digi. It complements the experience, but it doesn't replace it, yet at least. AI can handle the grunt work, like data analysis, pattern recognition, freeing up humans to focus on the creative aspects that machines can't replicate, like emotion, nuance, and that indescribable thing we call a soul. I feel like Edwards did say it best though, AI is a tool, and those who embrace it will thrive. So where does this leave us? In a gray area, my friends. The key to a peaceful coexistence lies in regulation and ethical guidelines. We need laws that can protect human creators while allowing room for AI to grow as a tool that can aid the creative process. It's a tightrope, but hey, that's what makes it exciting, right? In the end, the AI versus human creativity debate is a zero-sum game. It's more like a buddy cop movie where each partner brings something unique to the table. Sure, there will be conflicts and comedic misunderstandings, but in the end, they'll find their way to get the job done. So what do you think? Is AI the villain in this story, or is it the misunderstood anti-hero waiting for his redemption arc? And could the rise of AI in Hollywood lead to job losses and exploitation outside the industry? Let me know what you think in the comments. Oh, before the next story, if you haven't heard it yet, you should hear the AI-generated Plankton from Spongebob. Now, I'm not sure how much human heads had to do with it, and it's rock, but I'm telling you, wait, what am I saying? Here, just listen to this.
The secret formula will be mine soon enough. You'll all see, you'll all see, you'll all see. No more wasting all my time. You're the beach and I'm the tide. I'm about to break out, I'm about to break out. Plenty.
The AI are getting good, guys. Yeah, we're boned, but Baymax, here I come.
I cannot give you a hug through this monitor, but I can tell you to hug each other.
The United Auto Workers UAW strike has shaken up the auto industry. The big three automakers, Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, tried to outsmart the union, but ended up playing themselves by moving parts and halted production at the wrong plants, causing financial damage that could have been avoided.
So this is a little like a game of chess where the automakers thought they were playing 4D chess but ended up playing checkers or like Battleship or something. Anyways, here's the deal. The UAW and the automakers have been in this cat and mouse game for weeks now. The union was smart. They did targeted walk-offs to mess with the company's operations, but kept enough workers to make their strike fund last longer. It's like in a boxing match where you're not throwing haymakers, you're just jabbing, trying to tire the other guy out. The companies on the other end tried to guess which plants would be struck and reorganize accordingly. But guess what? They were wrong! Anyways, Brandon Mencia, the director for UAW's Region 9A, put it best. These companies are conducting strikes on themselves. They could have avoided this whole mess if they had just negotiated in good faith, but no, they decided to play themselves. And let's not forget about the political implications here. The UAW has a significant influence, especially in Michigan, a critical swing state. While Biden has been lukewarm in his support, Trump has been seizing the opportunity to speak to the auto workers. The UAW is asking for shorter work weeks, the return of pensions and benefits, and wage increases, something I feel we can all get behind. Their new president, Phan, has made it clear, if there's no progress by noon on Friday, more locals will join the strike. Can we talk about how these companies shot themselves in the foot real fast? I mean, they moved parts, halted productions, but at the wrong plants. So basically, they ordered a ton of pizzas for a party, but ended up sending them to their ex's house. Not only did you waste money, you also made someone else's day. Now, we don't have the exact number, but halting production and moving parts can't be cheap. I mean, we're talking about disruptions in the supply chain, idle workers, halted assembly lines, and the eventual cost of restarting production. Really, these companies are learning the hard way that when you play games, you risk losing. And in this case, they're losing millions, maybe even billions. One can only hope. The worst part of it all, it was all avoidable. But hey, as they say, you've got to pay to play. And these companies are paying pretty big right now.
House Republicans, led by Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, are planning to hold the first impeachment hearing into President Biden on September 28th. The hearing aims to focus on constitutional and legal questions surrounding Biden's involvement in corruption and abuse of public office. They also plan to subpoena the personal bank records of Hunter Biden and James Biden, President Biden's son and brother, respectively.
So, the House Republicans are pulling out the big guns, huh? First off, the hearing is set for September 28th. That's right, mark your calendars, because this is going to be a shit show. James Comer, the Oversight Committee Chairman, is leading the charge. And guess what they're focusing on? Constitutional and legal questions about Biden's involvement in, wait for it, corruption and abuse of public office. Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Anyways, they're also planning to subpoena the bank records of Hunter and James Biden, Joe's son and his brother, if you didn't know. Now, I'm not saying they're fishing, but if they catch something, they're definitely gonna mount it on their wall. The White House, of course, is dismissing this as a distraction. Ian Sams, the White House spokesman, basically said, y'all be trying to distract from your own mess. And let's be real, Republicans have their own internal drama of sorts they need to work out. But so do the Democrats, so let's not get it twisted. Now, Fox News reported that the Oversight Committee is likely to subpoena more bank records this week. They're also saying that the hearing won't necessarily tread on new ground, but will review existing evidence. Now, my question, is this impeachment hearing a genuine pursuit of justice? Or is it just another episode in the never-ending reality show that is American politics? I'm leading towards the latter, people, and here's why. First off, let's talk about the timing, shall we? I mean, we've got COVID rearing its head again, climate change causing the world to burn, and an economy that's more volatile than a cat on a hot tin roof. And what are the House Republicans focusing on? I mean, well, there's the whole deal with subpoenaing Hunter and James. I mean, they might as well say we can't find anything on Joe, so let's dig into his family. I'm not saying Joe's innocent here either, people. Like, let's be real, the guy's just as corrupt as every other politician. So if the House Republicans were genuinely concerned about corruption and abuse of power, they'd cast a wider net. But no, they're laser focused on Biden, which makes you wonder, why? What are you distracting us from? Their own internal divisions? The upcoming election? The list goes on. This move might just backfire on the Republicans, especially if it's perceived as a political stunt. But politicians just never seem to learn. Anyways, would you look at that? It's time for you to leave. Crazy, right? But before we go, I just wanted to say thanks for all the support you've been throwing our way, everyone. It makes this early channel road a little bit more bearable. So until next time, stay weird, stay safe, and I'll see you on Friday.